then look at what other people have to face. Every successful person has faced difficulties in their life and career. My guests will share with us the challenges they have overcome on the road to success. Every week we'll follow their story right here in Life with me, Patti Boulaye. Hello and welcome to Life with me, Patti Boulaye. My guest today is one of my favorite actresses, Janie Dee. I don't think she knows this, but I am such a big fan, okay? She's a multiple award-winning actress and one of Britain's most celebrated actresses. Wow, she's won 3 of the most prestigious awards in British theatre. The Olivier Award, the Evening Standard Award, and the Critics' Circle Awards. And in New York, I'm so jealous, okay? I mean, this woman takes everything, nothing left for me. In New York, the Obie and Theatre World Award for her role in Comic Potential. Janie, I am so jealous. And I love you dearly. Welcome. Good heavens.
Thank you.
Now tell me about this Comic Potential. That was in New York, right?
It was in Scarborough, actually. It started in Scarborough. Alan Ayckbourn wrote it for me. And it arrived on my carpet, hot off the press. And I remember at the time I was auditioning for Chicago, and I might have accepted it if I'd got it, but I didn't get Chicago. So I was lucky in that way that I didn't get that. And I went up to Scarborough, worked with Alan Ayckbourn for maybe the 3rd time, and we really created something in the play that was very special. I think both of us were bonded by that work we did together. And I remember on the first night, saying in the bar, all of us drinking a pint quietly, couldn't quite believe that this play had done what it did. And I said to him, how are we going to do that again? And he said, wipe the slate clean, start again.
Good man.
And each performance was like that from the beginning, and always has been since then. Any play I've done, wipe the slate clean, start the journey again. Yeah.
And he wrote that just for you?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, I'm not surprised, because the critics said you were hilarious. You gave a hilarious and heartbreaking performance. What an accolade.
It was a beautiful
hilarious
part.
and heartbreaking. That's a wonderful combination.
Well, that's also his writing. You know, he does give actors great roles. He creates them, and you just embody them.
I don't know, Janie. I've worked with actors, and sometimes I can't find the person.
Oh,
but with you, I can find you, because I know, people hate it when I say this, but I connect with your spirit. Okay, because I remember the first time, it wasn't actually like meeting you physically, but I saw you on television. It was one of those period programs. I don't know if it was Channel 4 or which one, I can't remember. But my husband and I said, who is that actress? Seriously, it was many years ago.
Who is that?
No, many years ago.
Yeah.
It must have been one of your early things, okay?
It
and
might
then
have been Celebration, was it?
I think it was Celebration.
With Colin Firth?
Yes!
Yes, okay. Yeah.
And so, we just became fans. And then when I met you at the Graham Norton show, when we did together.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I just went, ah! I was like, you must have thought, crazy woman.
No, I didn't. I thought, what a wonderful woman.
Janie, let's talk about your life, okay? How did this, because with this show, we tried to kind of keep it real for young people.
Yeah.
Okay, because they think you just wake up in the morning and become Janie Dee, right? You know what I mean? They try to be, they've been told about empowerment and you can do this and you can be me, which they cannot. Okay, so in this show we tried to show them who we really are, the journey we have had. So I'd like to know how it really all started for you.
Well, listening to Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue is the first moment I remember my heart soaring, and I didn't know what to do. And my mum came in and found me crying. She said, just dance to the music. And I did, and it felt so much better dancing to Rhapsody in Blue. I mean, that first clarinet.
Oh, fab.
I
Yes.
put the needle back several times to work out, what is that? How is it being done? I mean, it's just an amazing moment in music. So that was like the first moment I remember. And then my friend 3 doors away and I would make up dances quite a lot and invite the neighbours around to watch. And then
That's brilliant.
once I tested that, I got my 3 sisters involved as well, and then we'd put on shows a lot for neighbours. And then it was just clear, I think, to everybody, particularly to me. I remember lying in my bunk bed thinking, how do I get from this tiny little place called Dorney Reach to dancing on the stage with Nureyev, which is what I really wanted to do. I
Wow.
did, yeah, I was lucky. Somebody came to the school and went, oh, you come with me, and sort of showed me how to go to London. And my parents worked very hard and sent me to a stage school called Arts Educational School. So that's
you went
how
to
that.
Arts Ed?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. Yeah. Yes, and I remember meeting you there.
Yes.
When I was your daughter went there.
Yes, one of my stepdaughters, yes.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember seeing you and thinking, oh, Patti Boulaye.
Well, I tell you what, your journey is quite amazing because you act, okay, you play comic roles and tragic roles, drama, I mean, this is why I'm so jealous. Okay, you do classical, modern, and period roles, you sing, you dance, you're a wife, you're a mother. Janie Dee, you've taken everything else. You need to leave something. No, it's wonderful that
It is
you
a bit
do
much.
this,
It is a bit much. But listening to you earlier speaking about how we have to sort of, my spirituality has been part of that first moment listening to the clarinet.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't just, oh, the clarinet's great. Something happened.
Something happened, yeah.
That was to do with, I guess, connection to spirit. And in fact, when I was doing Comic Potential, I had a lot of inspiration during that time. And in fact, halfway through thought, oh my God, my name's JC333, as in the robot's called JC333. But I noticed little similarities in the story about a certain person. And I said to somebody in the show, are you thinking what I'm thinking about this show? And they didn't know what I was talking about. So I never told, I've never said to anybody
Yes.
what I thought it was. But it was a very funny, very tragic, very human story, but about a robot. But I really thought it had elements of the story of Christ. And sort of, I won't go into it, you can read it, but there were little inspirations. I thought, gosh, that's very similar to the Bible. It's very similar to his story at that point when Pilate talks to him and then Herod talks to him.
Yes.
And then he gets killed and then he comes back. This was the pattern in the play. I mean, I don't know for a minute if Alan, I'm sure if I asked Alan, he'd say, no, don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
But
see, this is what I mean, because you had... I keep telling people we're spiritual beings going on a physical journey, okay? When you listen to your spirit, this is why I said I could never find actors, because they become somebody else all the time, and in the end, they lose themselves. But you seem to be grounded in who you are.
Well, I realised that I had this disease, if you like. I didn't know who I really was. And I loved being in character because then I could be that person. And I think actors find it quite difficult not working because they don't know who they are. And I wanted to know who I was. So
Exactly.
I know having children really helped. And I remember walking across a field in Norfolk with this big bump. And as I walked, I thought, oh, I'm on the earth. I'm here, visiting. It felt like I was visiting or something. It happened to me a few times, and I felt like I was inside this body.
Yes.
I was slightly detached from my body. That's what I mean. And it was a definite feeling. And it's happened a few, not many, but a few times. And yes, what you were saying about spirit before, I think it's very much part of being able to keep going as well when things get tough.
Yes.
I don't know how I would cope if I did not have my faith.
Absolutely.
And I don't like to, like some people have already said, segregate myself either. I love all religions. I think they're brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
I find going to another country and watching how somebody else worships extraordinary and fascinating and rather wonderful.
Yes.
When you said about the Biafran war, that it was between Muslims and Christians, I mean, I've met so many Muslims, so many Christians, so many everything. I can't really believe that that's the reason for a war or for an argument. I think there must be something else.
Well, the thing is, we're imperfect beings.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We're totally imperfect, okay? Because I never expect any, I don't know how to put this without offending, but I find it very difficult. There are very few humans I have total respect for. As a matter of fact, I don't know if there's any, because we all have our failings, and we're dispensable, and we change, we're interchange. The way I look at it is, come on, Jesus came to earth, okay, and he healed. He made the lame walk. Gosh, what didn't he do? And then they hung him on a cross. That's us. We're totally imperfect, That's us. It doesn't matter who you are. And then the other thing I do is I look at our little planet in the cosmos, okay? It's like a grain of sand. Sometimes you can't even find us. And so I think, why do we get upset about the stupidest things? I mean, how important can it be? I look out of the window in my house, and there's a field across, and I swear I cannot see anyone walking across there because they're so tiny. And it's not that far. And that is in this great big... And so I have to bring the spirit down to, like when I'm working, like talking about actors, which is why I connect with you, because I know that you have gone past that point where you become characters. You can switch on and off. I had to play Carmen. And apparently all the Carmen, I was the 8th Carmen in the West End. And apparently everyone had to have a switch off time and I'm going, why switch off? There is a cue. There's the cigarette song, Good luck, Mr. Flying Man. That's my cue. I'm Carmen. But I was waiting then. This is going on. And the company manager comes and goes, Patti, it's an emergency call. I run. Okay, I'm thinking, oh gosh, what? My son goes, Mommy, where are my rugby boots? So I said, where they usually are, darling. Race straight back. And the company manager was all panicked, okay? Yeah. And I came up and said, what was it? I said, my son wanting his rugby boots. He said, I've never known a Carmen who can switch off from rugby boots to Carmen. So I said, what's the point? You just find it. Like you said, it's your spirituality. Your spirit's on a physical journey, and that's what mine was doing on that day. It was just a physical journey. It was nothing to do with me, quite honestly. That's all I can say. It wasn't to. Now.
Yeah, juggling children is part of it.
Yes, I'm into grandchildren now.
Really, congratulations! You don't look like you're old enough to have
Janie,
grandchildren.
black don't crack. Black don't crack. Now, you said something about, I love that, being true to yourself. Okay. Now, before you made it, there's always that period in show business where you have to do other things.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I looked after old people for a bit in an old people's home. I wanted to do that, and I'm glad I did it. Not a nice end for anybody, I think, going to an old people's home. And it was very sad. But I have some great stories that will have to go into a show someday about all the wonderful people I met and got to know there. And then I've also been a secretary. I've also worked in shops. I've done all sorts of things, really, to make some money. Worked as a production assistant on films. I went to Italy to teach dance and learn to sing there. I don't really mind what I do. I haven't minded what I did. I mean, when I became a mum, I was at the point where I could also work, as in there was work coming. And it's thankfully touch wood,
Touch wood.
still coming.
Yes.
But if I had to stop and do something else, I guess I would. You know, one has to keep feeding the children and oneself. But luckily, I have been very fortunate and worked really hard. I mean, my sister and I, when we were both not working, used to meet in Covent Garden after a ballet class, and we'd say our little mantra to each other, which was, work hard, persevere, and you will succeed. And that's what we used to, if it got really bad, you know, there hadn't been an audition or, you know.
I think that's the
hard.
tough bit of being in show business, isn't it?
If you're not getting an audition, it's hard.
It's that quiet period.
Yeah. But actually, when I was a waitress, I found great joy in being with people. And there was a sort of performance element of being a waitress, and I did enjoy that. I remember it got very busy at about 5 o'clock, 5:30. People were coming in for pre-theatre stuff, and I would really start to, you know, work the room. And one day the guy was, you know, it was so full and so busy, and the hatch came down, he handed me the pasta, I turned around so quickly that the pasta fell off the plate, and I started to walk in again. He came up to me, I didn't see that they were empty plates, and he said, "Look what you've done." I said, "What?" "Oh God, there was no food." I'd switched so quickly that the food had been left on the floor, so I went back. I said, "What did I do?" And he put it back on the plate.
No!
And I said, "You can't do that." He said, "Just go." Yeah. So, yes, it wasn't all wonderful. That was just, I don't know. It was only on the floor for a moment, and I'm sure people
I think a moment is all it takes. Good heavens. But, you know, working in the old people's home, because as you said that, I was looking for where you get the warmth of character that you have. And you have got that, Janie. It's the passed down knowledge from older people.
Oh, yeah.
That
A
is
very
now
loving
missing.
family. My mum really set the example by looking after people. Just generally, it's just, she's still here, and it's just her natural way is to care about people. And my father worked very hard and cared evidently about us. He was very strict. He used to get quite angry about things as well, but never hit us, and just if we didn't help Mummy,
Yes.
he'd get really cross.
Yes.
So the four of us, my three sisters and I, were diligent about keeping a good house and looking after each other. Still are, actually, look after each other and them. So it's just, yes, it's upbringing, I think.
I think you're such a good listener. I've noticed that. You're a very good listener. And is that part of acting? Is that part of, you know, I've done acting, but it's not my forte. You know, I mean, I've played Carmen, and I can identify with that character, but I don't know how you guys can get into a character, because I've seen you, everything I've seen you do, nothing is the same.
Good.
So is it because you listen well? Because I'm a terrible listener. I don't know why I'm doing this program.
You are not a terrible, you're a good listener.
I am a terrible listener.
No, you're a good listener. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to talk like this. Listening is very important as an actor, but it's also very important
As a person.
as a person.
Yeah.
My mum is a great talker as well as a good listener. So I guess I've had to listen to her and listen to things that are really sometimes hard to hear. Stuff she's been through, you know.
Did she ever protect you from things, you know, because I grew up in Africa, and I don't know if all African families do this, but my mother, everything was on the table. Life, death, birth. You know, I was so pleased for that because I delivered my grandson. But
wow.
everything is on the table.
Yeah.
Every experience is to be had.
Yes, she shared just about everything about her
Excellent,
life,
yeah.
I would say. I like listening to people. I think I was probably told when I was learning to do what I do, Gillian Lynn once said to me on my first job with her, when you're sitting there, just focus and really listen to what's going on. Because if you're listening, we're listening. I had to just sit on the stage and watch the action. And that was my first job, was the swing, which means you go on if somebody's not well.
Yes.
On 5 different parts, you know.
That's a tough one.
I loved it. But if I wasn't on, I had to sit like a mannequin that was just watching the action, which, if she hadn't said that to me, would have been incredibly boring. But actually, to be told you must really focus and really listen to what's going on. And I found that I had lots of ideas coming. And it was, you know, fruitful. It was fruitful.
Gillian Lynn, she shared a lot of... I remember hearing her say, something I always used to say this, but it was good to hear it said in public. She said, fake it until you make it.
Did she really?
And I thought, good woman. Because if somebody said to me, can you fly a jet plane? Yeah. Then I go, somebody teach me how to fly a jet plane.
I think she was talking about showbiz.
I know.
I'm pretty sure she was talking about showbiz.
know, but that's Patti, you
Yeah,
know. You
yeah.
just say to me, can you ride a horse? Yeah. And then I go,
quickly
anybody
learn.
got a horse? Can you swim? Yeah. And then I drown. That's just the story of my life.
Well, Gillian Lynn, we went to her memorial the other day. Terribly sad to lose
I
her,
know,
but
yeah.
at 92,
But 92,
one
yeah.
can't complain.
Yeah.
She was here and she did everything in her life that she wanted to do. I really believe she did. And the last little moment of the memorial was her voice saying, life is wonderful. Live life. Life is good. And I thought, thank you for that. She had said it years ago, but it was just the last note of her
life.
Of her
That's,
memorial.
It's a wonderful line to, you know, live life. Live life. Just don't let anybody else just steer you in any other direction. Just enjoy your life. Life is short and life is beautiful. Thank you so much, Janie.
Thank you.
God bless you for
God bless
coming
you.
to join
Lovely
me.
to meet you, Patti. Thank you.
Thank you.